the final round of day one at the 2026 Division III College Championships. You're watching Ultiworld's coverage live from Waukegan, Illinois. The winner of this exciting matchup gets a bye to quarterfinals. It's the number 4 seed Middlebury Pranksters taking on the number 5 seed Wesleyan Vicious Circles. Theo Wan and Kelsey Percy bringing you the action. And as we take a look at the pools, Kelsey, just like the men's side, been a chalky first 2 rounds so far.
We're seeing the winners win. Teams coming in with a little more talent, a little more depth, dealing with some of the moisture this morning and a little bit of the heat here in the afternoon. But overall, Theo, it's been a gorgeous day, and we're just seeing players make plays. And
for this Middlebury side to be successful, their star player, number 6, Ella Widmeyer, is going to be making plays. Ranked as the number 1 player in Ultiworld's top 15 player rankings, played for the club team Seattle Riot. 27 assists last year at Nationals, multiple national teams as well, and was on a national team with the Wesleyan player to watch in Milo Brown.
Yeah, sure was. Both of these players have U20 gold, but they have a U24 gold together. And more than that, again, as said, high school teammates, so know each other well. And I think that's one of the themes you're going to find. These are 2 teams with fantastic systems, good mastery of fundamentals, and they know each other so well.
Milo, they were the Defensive Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year last year. As we take a look at the matchup notes, Vicious Circles, if you didn't know, defending D3 champions. Middlebury made it all the way to the semifinals that same season. That was last year. And they have split Universe Point games this season. One of them came at a very windy tournament called East Coast Invite, one of the last regular season tournaments of the year. And so is there much to take away for both teams from that game when it was so windy?
I think one of the things that we've heard from both teams is they feel that that tournament prepared them very well for this moment, for these conditions. We've seen in every layer of play today, all 3 rounds, throws act unexpectedly, popping up, sailing, things being generally affected by the wind. And so anticipating that, knowing that, bracing mentally for things to go awry, and then playing that scrappy mentality is something that both these teams do well. Both of them love to play defense. Both of them love to execute on hooks. This is honestly the game that I might have been most excited for today.
We're coming off an exhilarating one on the men's side in the 4-5 battle, and certainly hoping for the same here in this one. Winner gets a spot to quarterfinals, doesn't have to play the early game tomorrow. Certainly both teams eyeing that. Wesleyan going left to right on your screen, starting out on defense. Nora Buzanski, they missed nationals last year due to injury. Great to see them back on the field for Wesleyan. And now in the hands of Widmeyer. Widmeyer's throw is low and not brought in for Middlebury.
I think Wesleyan might have gotten a hand on that, because that is usually where Ella Widmeyer shines.
Lisa Rooks now. Little reset. Wesleyan, this is a break opportunity, and too far. Looking for Ava Keller. So 1 turn apiece so far. And Widmeyer, who else but number 6, to get things going here for the Pranksters.
Love this matchup, Knutson-Adel and Widmeyer. So much firepower right there in those 2 players.
Looking in, big grab, attempted, but coming up empty was Maddie Mitchell, the rookie.
Maddie Mitchell did such a good job of trying to high point that, and I think just missed it by a centimeter. But Wesleyan having to kind of carve their way out of their own end zone.
Where's their offense going to come from here as they get things moving with Elizabeth Littell? Buzanski looked off, and it's a reset instead. And now over to this side to Sophia Canutis-Nadal. Nadal looking deep. Some coverage and good play from Avery Goldstein, a captain on this team, second-year player.
I like that look from Wesleyan. This has been a traditionally kind of upwind side. It's been somewhere where you need to be willing to take the shots, but Middlebury's ability to collapse in and get that help defender there, that 2-on-1 is not what you want for your deep looks.
Widmeyer power position, low backhand, and it's swatted down by Keller.
Theo, that's the second shot we've seen Ella Widmeyer kind of force.
Speaking of
we are seeing a foul call.
Yeah, Buzanski had the turnover, but I believe there's a foul called on the mark of Zora Da Silva.
Yeah, so sorry, you're calling foul?
Yeah, I don't know if I had a complete bid on the disc, but I do think that when I went up to get, I was pushed down because I think that she fell on me a little bit.
Okay, and
I was just, wondering what you were
what would you like to address that a little bit?
I honestly, I was just, I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah.
So
I was just, yeah. I can go to an observer, right?
You can, but like it would like you to have a little bit of discussion why you think that that's not the case.
Okay, I guess I'll no contest it. I was just wondering. Wait, do I have to have a perspective?
Well, if you don't have a reason to contest, then.
Okay. Okay, I'll just no contest.
Okay. Foul, no contest.
Foul, no contest. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Terrible.
Little bit of an interesting conversation. Shot to end zone, though.
Buzanski finds Sofia Canutes Nadal, and the first score, it's a break. It goes to the defending champions.
And if you're Middlebury, that's just a little bit of a gut punch because it's a low energy moment. You lose your momentum, and Wesleyan just pounces. And that, to me, speaks more of an experience. Both of these teams have a lot of young players. Just some of the bigger freshmen and rookie classes that we've seen. And that, to me, was just a new player lacking confidence in what was happening in that situation. So probably something that can be addressed in the sidelines. One more shot. Look, though, at this shot to Canutes Nadal. And again, this is a tricky shot because of the wind. She got just enough spin and rotation to cut through, but not so much as to overshoot Canutes Nadal. That's beautifully executed.
Middlebury known for having their swan in action, but they also have someone helping troubleshoot, is what we've been told. Lee Gorman providing some perspective for this Middlebury side, and Wesleyan has their coach of Ultiworld's coach of the year last year in Division III Women's, Keith Rayner, looking very cool, calm, and collected with the iPad calling the lines out here. As they're up 1-0, lots of game left, however, on this showcase stream. We thank you, of course, for tuning in, especially those on YouTube. Maddie Mitchell looking for another rookie in Da Silva, the southpaw, returning things over to Widmeyer. Widmeyer has a receiver going deep. That's Izzy Laramie, and it goes out of bounds.
Again, Theo, we are seeing wind kind of wreaking havoc on throws because it will affect them. It will push, especially if the bottom of the disc is exposed.
They're stuck on the sideline. Good catch under pressure for the Vicious Circles. Big throw going up, looking for Milo Brown. Good grab from Milo, not in just yet. They're looking for options and finds Sister Maggie Brown.
And what a fantastic outcome from a high stall, risky situation. Middlebury had Wesleyan locked up on the sideline, releasing downfield. And if you need an outlet, Milo Brown is such a fantastic target. but the patience, turning around, seeing who was coming. Middlebury hustled down, but Wesleyan got there and made that shot. Now again, watch this first shot. The wind just pushing it. Neither player really has a chance. But you see Milo, bottom left of your screen, taking off completely out, and the disc just sails. Did such a good job of tucking up, claiming the space from the defender so that she then has a clean runway onto it. They did a just fantastic body out job on that cut. That's huge for Wesleyan.
Siblings linking up. Maggie Brown, a Donovan finalist. That to be determined on Monday, so stay tuned for that. But Maggie Brown, a big-time star player for this Vicious Circle side, and they're up 2-0, and certainly Middlebury feeling a bit of the pressure now. Don't want to go down 3-0. A lot of the same offensive line pieces like Cece Rainier and Maddie Mitchell back on the field. Same thing with Ella Widmeyer and Avery Goldstein. Widmeyer at the helm. Gets low for the flick, and it's picked up. Great grab there from Izzy Laramie.
I'm good.
Goldstein now. Resets it to Widmeyer. Looking for the around, does so.
And this is when you want those low releases. You want that good execution. But Middlebury's got to have it in the back of their head. They were just broken twice. They need this score.
Going around. They need the score, but it's not in just yet. De Silva looking for Widmeyer, but throw just behind. Things unraveling a little bit for the Pranksters. They need a big defensive block here, down 2-0, and the Vicious Circles with the disc. Littell finds a reset in Buzanski. Southpaw handler needs options. And now they're looking deep. Are the Vicious Circles? Two players there, but neither can get there. And number 18, Ava Keller, or 19, Nora Whiteside.
Theo, we've talked a lot today throughout the rounds about playing field position, and that is something that I actually really like. Had power position, took the shot, had two cutters, beating their defenders in contention, and now they're getting a short field turn. This is exactly what you want if you're Wesleyan.
Now, both of these teams have championship aspirations and are considered title favorites, so meeting in pool play is tough for both, but they're going to be battle tested here as they move into the bracket. Both are assured of that chance, but the winner gets that coveted bye. Canutas Nadal. Throw hits the pylon, but doesn't hit a Wesleyan receiver. Elizabeth Littell was also in the area.
And that's been a really tough shot to hit. This near side corner and cone, so difficult with the wind just bearing down on it. Middlebury has the whole length of the field to go, though, and right now they are pinned on the corner of their end zone.
High throw looking for Widmeyer, up to the task.
What an athletic read from Widmeyer.
Underneath, good grab them from Laramie. Had the bobble and drop earlier. Things continuing onto that open side. Working it around the horn over to Rainier now, one of the captains of this team and their Donovan nominee. Widmeyer looking to the end zone. And it's going to be ruled a goal for the Pranksters. Laramie on the receiving end, atoning for the error earlier. And that was a much-needed hold. They needed to not go down 3-0. And they do just that.
If you are Middlebury, you breathe an enormous sigh of relief because you stopped the bleeding. You've gotten your defense onto the field. That was a messy sequence, Theo. But the patience, much better patience shown that very last series. But watch this. I like this risk taken by Wesleyan because it's still a chance upfield. We see the drop there, and then Wesleyan has a chance to attack in that short field position, but just overthrown, no chance there. But then the patience. Middlebury executing at a much higher level, and that almost so risky knuckled catch. Hanging on there. That's Gosh, if you're Laramie, you wait for the hands and then you readjust just so you don't drop it until it's signaled a goal. That's scary.
Amy Lee, a star rookie for Middlebury, played for the China U20, U24 team, set to pull. So keep an eye out for a player you might not have heard of before this tournament started. So getting some national team experience all the way in Middlebury, Vermont out here. First look at the offensive grouping for the Vicious Circle. Scout Noble part of that. Same thing with Mackenzie Bunnell. And Mabel Wu, also from China, one of 3 players from China on this Wesleyan side as well. So D3 going a little international right now.
Those who know D3's been international, eh? Wesleyan just cutting this defensive set to pieces, hitting all the angles, but that shot just too bladey to make it into the end zone.
Looking for Scout Noble was Maya Salzman, the 3rd-year player. Lee to walk it up for the Pranksters. Power position now. Gonna have to come back to it. Does just that is Lizzie Madden. Another big-time rookie for this team. They got 2 of them. That's Amy Lee, who's about to get the disc now and does so. And then Lizzie Madden from Atlanta. Ruby Salisbury. Tall handler, getting things forward. This is a break chance for the Pranksters. Already bled 2 to start this game. Certainly trying to get one of those back right now, but a high stall. And it's there for Madden.
Madden caught it, but they're saying stall called.
That did seem like a long time, Kelsey, is all I'm saying.
Wesleyan has really been able to ratchet up the pressure. Let's listen in.
Can I? As a contest.
Do you have a question?
Can I able to go to the observer?
Yeah, only one of you in the discussion has to come to the observer for the observer to make a ruling. You don't have to agree upon that.
Yeah.
So you want to come to the observer? Or do you want to just leave it as a contest?
I mean, I'm going to leave it as a contest, but can I go to the observer?
Yep. Coming to the observer, the ruling on that is no stall. The disc will stay there on the count of 1.
So a little bit of clarification there. What would have been a contested stall is overturned when it goes to the observer, so the disc will stay in Middlebury's hands, and they are entering the red zone.
Lee and Madden working pitch and catch here. Great defense from Scout Noble, making things difficult for Amy Lee. Lee now spinning around and looking for a target, but going to come up empty there.
Milo Brown with the run through D. Wesleyan just cranking the pressure on Middlebury. And Scout Noble
looking deep for Mackenzie Bunnell there. Dangerous pass, but it's brought in by Maggie Brown. And
Ganzel had fingers on that, but Wesleyan just attacking.
Milo finding Scout Noble. Noble aiming for Brown, and that's Maggie Brown, but the disc will tail out of bounds.
So again, wind definitely affecting throws, but you could see Brown saying, my bad, I misread that. And I don't know if that was the angle of the cut or just the timing of when she attacked it. Thinking she could run it down, definitely not an option there. That disc was gone.
Madden has the disc now for Middlebury. Both of these teams took care of pool play. They're both 2-0 and did so handily. I've seen scores like 15-2. That's just complete domination from beginning to end. So we know this matchup is going to prove to be a close one.
Middlebury continuing to get power position, but Wesleyan doing such a good job of sealing off. But there's the goal.
McKenna Bachman getting that one from Kaya Ganzel. And we're tied up. Big break there for the Pranksters. They did that without Ella Widmeyer, other O-line crossovers on the field.
So that is a big one. Being able to earn that break back is huge for this Pranksters team that wants to be a contender, that came in as, I believe, the top seed in that pool. Yeah, top seed in their pool, ranked 4, but that's the tricky part of Pool D, right?
Pool of death, right?
Because you've got 4 and 5 seeds right there together.
Right there together in the scoreline as well. We're tied up 2-2.
The best of College Ultimate is here, but this summer the game goes global. From the rising stars of World Junior Ultimate Championships to the seasoned battles of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships to the biggest stage in Club Ultimate, the World Ultimate Club Championships. Watch the best of the best represent their countries, their clubs, and the future of the sport. Watch it all unfold live, exclusively on Ultiworld.
Coming out of the timeout, Middlebury Wesleyan. What else did you expect? 4 or 5 seeds in the tournament, tied at 2s. There's been 4 points, as made evident by the scoreline, and 3 of those have been breaks, folks. So it's been defense-centric here, and certainly the weather going to play some tricks, perhaps. We know these two teams have met already previously in the season twice, splitting those wins. The most recent one, a windy affair, and certainly the wind picking up here in Waukegan as well. As we get a look at the 2025 Coach of the Year, Keith Rayner, very animated in his discussion with the team. You could really see it in the body language.
Yeah, hyping up his team. Again, this team still relatively young. Very, very talented, and that can be tough because you're dealing with the mental game. But also, how do you make those adjustments? How do you get in the right mentality? Remember, this game has real stakes because the winner of this game does not play the quarterfinal tomorrow. So there's a lot of incentive on the line. Pre-quarter tomorrow. Apologies for that.
Of course, if you end up in the pre-quarterfinal round, it doesn't mean death to your bracket hopes, but you just get that extra game as getting handed the cookie jar, and Middlebury now a chance for a second straight break and what would be their 3rd point in a row. It's going to be Lee and Madden driving this D-line offense right now for the Pranksters. Inside throw a little behind Laramie, and then one turnover deserves another. That was the intended B. Wozniak for Wesleyan, but it will be a disc for the Pranksters. Lee zipping it in, but a layout block. Kayla Harrison get horizontal.
I mean, that's what these teams do, right? This has just been defense against defense. As much throwing firepower as both these teams have, they love to dictate the game. They love to make other teams play outside of their comfort zone. But miscommunication there. Knut Snedell did not know that she was the target.
I think both teams look a little bit uncomfortable right now in terms of some of the weather, and of course the stakes are quite high. We know Wesleyan, the defending champions, target on the back all year, and certainly Middlebury, a legacy program in their own right, winning 3 titles from 21 to 23. And so these teams know what it takes to get it done in the big moments. They're feeling that a bit right now, though.
And Theo, I got to admit, my expectations for these teams is higher than what we are seeing right now, because we're seeing a lot of unforced execution errors, but handy hand blocks, Batman. That was a swipe down.
Kaya Ganzel getting involved. Big lockdown defense, forcing a downfield throw, but it does work out. Trying to get it back is Salisbury. Ruby Salisbury now. Lee is the handler. Clearing up line, and instead it's an inside reset looking for Madden, but just too far from double 6. 4 double six, I should say.
Wesleyan wanted to go on the quick attack, but now the defense is set. And look at this 4-person box, just really taking up, absorbing the space. You've got a mark, you've got 2, and they're really head on the swivel, just keeping sight of the action. But Wesleyan beat it by going around the outside, and defense got caught looking. What a rundown!
Lisa Rooks also didn't play at Nationals last year due to injury, so great to see them back on the field as well. Canutus Nadal finds Scout Noble, a big hold for the Vicious Circles.
A big hold and an upwind hold. Very important one for Wesleyan, the first hold of their offense. Remember, up to this point, it is their defense that had been scoring.
It's been a defensive game. We've seen a big hand block in that sequence as well. Noble getting involved with the goal. Ranked as the number 4 player in the rankings.
So much intensity coming from both teams on the defensive side. And watch this step out, the reach, the full extension to get hands on the disc by Ganzel. And then the extension there, just dragging that one in, and the step out, that's a tough shot. The wind definitely catches it. But Scout Noble read it like a book and just brought that one in. That is a huge score for Wesleyan, because Middlebury really had a chance to get the double break there by forcing Wesleyan to go upwind. They almost turned the river, and that's got to be frustrating for Middlebury to not get that one back.
Turn the river? You got to explain to me that term. I never heard that.
So something of a, if you break going downwind and then the team has to go upwind the other way, it's more likely that you get that double break. And so it's running, almost running the table on it.
I see what you're saying. You know, I'm not used to that term, but
have a foul.
I'm going to put it in the vocabulary. There is a foul called there on Widmeyer. Uncontested from Maggie Brown. Widmeyer. Resetting it to Rainier. Widmeyer has Laramie going to the deep space, covered by Keller. Great defense from Maggie Brown, but Widmeyer still able to get the disc. Content to go every other is number 6. And a big driving force of this Middlebury offense. Going up the line against Maggie Brown, does so. And that was the Widmeyer show, throwing the assist, finding Maddie Mitchell.
80%, Theo, of that entire point was operated within 5 yards of the sideline, which is not ideal. That is not what Middlebury wants to do every time, but you'll take it once to get the upwind point.
Hey, all scores count the same. I'm just saying. I mean, coach is going to look at this and say,
but
hey,
do they? But do they? Because
on the score sheet, they do.
There is a cost. The risks that you take, that you tolerate taking, do add up, because risks that you take that work out once are not guaranteed to work the next time. That's why we don't like those narrow margins. We like the middle of the field, Theo.
What you're saying is,
come on to the middle.
It could work only one time and not the whole time. I hear what you're saying. And so you don't want to do all the bad habits.
We're not talking the whole time. We're talking statistically majority. Okay, let's table this. We'll argue it out over pizza.
I thought we were getting Thai food tonight, but both of these teams going to need to fuel up because they got more action coming. That's tomorrow, and then, of course, finals on Monday. So we thank you for tuning in to the live coverage wherever you are. Big tie game between Middlebury and Wesleyan out here.
So it is fascinating, Theo, because Wesleyan scored upwind and then Middlebury successfully scored upwind. Now Wesleyan has to do it again. So Middlebury, in executing, puts Wesleyan back in the same difficult place. Now, we've seen the wind kind of die off a little bit in the last couple minutes. It's still gusting. But as a thrower, to me, it almost becomes more difficult when there's not a steady wind, when instead there's just bursts randomly affecting throws.
Milo, big fake, finding Mabel Wu now. Wu slicing it through the middle, Bunnell.
That was a huge shot, but where is the connection to the next layer?
No
Wesleyan.
connective tissue, Kelsey. I know that's what you're going to say. And that results in a turnover on the reset space, looking for Maggie Brown. So Middlebury trying to get things back on serve here.
Wesleyan got it to the middle of the field, but again, Stranding Cutters not having that follow through, and that might be a little bit of tired legs. It was a very long, hard fight to get that last upwind point, and then Middlebury scoring so quickly, you might be seeing some fatigue. This is the third game of the day for both teams.
Third straight as well on top of that. It's not like they had a bye in between. Wesleyan actually to come to this game as a bobble there from Zora Da Silva. They came to the game a few minutes before because they were on another field nearby.
Wesleyan choosing to punt and play field position. They're wanting to get away from their own end zone. Milo Brown hustling to set that big flat mark.
Salisbury power position, winding up the flick. Looking for Bachman. Will not stay in bounds. Bachman caught the first goal. That was a break for the Pranksters.
Mabel Wu picks up for Vicious.
Both teams with big depth and sidelines, so a lot of energy on both sides right now as they try to usher on their squads in one of the longer points of this game so far.
Theo, honestly, I think the sidelines have been the most positive thing about this game so far because there have been so many execution errors. Again, both of these teams absolutely have another gear. They have a whole another tier of play that they are capable of. And I think that timeout is exactly what that's about. That's a frustration timeout. We can do better than this timeout. We need to lock things down, but also they want to stop just trading turns. But I think the sidelines, the presence, the energy, the vocality, all of these things have been what I do expect from these teams, and I want to see that continue.
Middlebury Wesleyan all tied up at threes.
And the DC Shadow are your 2025 Premier Ultimate League champions.
All tied up at threes, a timeout called. As we take a look at the game stats quick and see one number that stands out to me.
I mean, the 13 all turnovers, yes. I mean, Theo, I was just asking myself, was I being too critical of these teams? But look at these percentages, that 1 of 9. This is just rough. I want to see these teams turn a page and not continue in this turn fest. But this is where we are. So if we ask the question, what could they do differently? Again, right now, zone is king. And so field position is going to be extremely important. I would love to see, yes, stretching the field, but also execution and follow-up. That is huge. That completion right there.
Here, Chile calls from the sideline. Milo Brown looking in the end zone. Couple players there. Bunnell. And almost bobbled, but it is caught. That was a little bit dangerous, but Violet Berube, the rookie, does bring it in.
You heard the squeaks from the sideline, the nervous energy when that disc got bobbled. But that was huge. That was a 3-throw score, upwind, which is wild. But it also, again, shows you the tier. So Scout Noble stretching the field. The follow-through that Wesleyan had 3 players, eyes on the disc, following it in tiers. And then Milo Brown just into the teeth of the wind, making then this short shot on goal possible. That is how you execute the upwind, and both of these teams have done it.
Rayner talking to his squad, and he noted before the game that there are certain pod names based on his son's favorite foods. So, Kelsey, do you remember the pod names? I'm quizzing you now.
Do I ever? I also have a 4-year-old, so they particularly stuck in mind to me because we had Pods ZT, as in the noodles, Pod Nuggets, Pod Grits, Pod PB&J. Shout out Pod Grits. Keith Rayner, of course, originally hailing from down south in Atlanta. And he feels like it is his sworn duty to make sure his child knows what grits are and like them.
I'm not a grits guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I do like
That's
Southern
probably
barbecue.
because I
just not a
haven't made
grits
them for
guy.
you.
Okay, well.
We got this.
I'll have to try it one time. But that's interesting about the pod system there. I like that. Make it fun for the players. Middlebury on their side, they got kind of their own vibes with the O&D line out here. So different strategies for different teams.
Well, and of course, the luxury of that pod and why you do it is it allows you to create small groups of chemistry that you can then intermatch because you've got some of these handler sets. He said, you might have the handle groups coming out of ZT, working with the cutter groups out of PB&J, and it makes line calling a breeze. Big swat down D. Wesleyan just jumps the lane.
Keller's been involved a couple times playing YCC Ultimate with Valley Ultimate, getting some touches here on defense with the blocks. Buzanski now needs a reset and a little tightly contested for Chloe Pachetti.
That's a tough one, and that's why you don't want that backfield turn because now Middlebury, short field, wind has largely died down. It's up there at a higher level. And yet another unforced error. That was a beautifully executed upwind toss by Widmeyer, keeping it out of the teeth of the wind. And Knut Snedell just ready to turn and burn.
I like that Wesleyan is trying to attack right away off these turns because often you see players, and this is for younger athletes in the audience, often players hang their head after a turn. You want to just continue to attack, and Wesleyan doing just that with B. Wozniak now looking for Buzanski. Big layout, and it's a break for Wesleyan.
What an electrifying catch. That is exactly the match needed to set this game on fire. And that is the break to really turn it around. Remember, all of our goals to this point have been upwind, and they've been dicey. Now Wesleyan pours it on, and Middlebury has to send their O-line back out again. Watch this again. The defense
That's
just
Keller.
Pouncing the lane. Keller has been so good, so heads up in this game. But that catch from Wozniak was what really opened this up. And what a just pure faith to your receiver toss. That high release. Risky, probably adrenaline filled. But then Buzanski laying it all out of the line. And you can see the elation on her face. And the whole sidelines waiting for the observers' hands to go up, and then they erupt onto the field. Look at it. You'd think they'd won the game right there. But it is also how key that point was.
They're going to be able to, what did you say again, turn the river? Are they going to be able to turn the river here, get it the other way? That's the hope right now. This pole landing just past midfield. CC Rainier quick to get things going. Widmeyer. Big target down there, and Maddie Mitchell. Mitchell looking for Widmeyer, but Canutus Nadal denies it.
Canutus Nadal is having one heck of a game. Just executing to perfection some of Wesleyan's game plan, which was to deny those upline cuts. They know Widmeyer favors them. They know Middlebury plays to that. But we're seeing such good fast twitch defense awareness from both sides. Inches now for Middlebury.
And Widmeyer will find De Silva for the goal. And so third assist for Widmeyer, and certainly needed for Middlebury.
Almost anticlimactic there, but that was fantastic. Middlebury able to step in, really gum things up. And when you are inches away and you're going downwind, it just makes it so much easier. Yeah, really good poach recognition. And quite frankly, Theo, that's where you really need a fake to clear that lane out. But good cut by De Silva, good execution by Ella Widmeyer, and now they get to get their defense back out. What a just back and forth battle this has been. It feels like it's starting to clean up. Did I say it too soon? I might have said it too soon.
We're yet to find out, as Amy Lee gonna pull here for the Pranksters. Milo Brown to pick up. Low throw is brought in. Sasha Raskin getting one of her first touches. Noble now.
A lot of separation right now between the handler set and the downfield. Looks like we will have a call on that.
Bachman going to be called on a foul by Kenzie Bunnell. Bunnell saying there was a lot more contact.
I would contest. I think the contact was after the disc got by. Okay. I guess I'm fine keeping it at foul contest. Yeah. You're welcome to go to the observer if you want. Can we go to the observer? Yeah.
I mean, the observer overruled the foul. There will be no foul. The disc will be down here. So hold here for a minute. Wait for him to get in place. 3, 2, 1, and touch the ground. Coming in at 1, 3, 2, 1.
Observer rules that it's going to go to the way of Middlebury. Then Widmeyer looking at the warp disc. There are certain rules about that. I know they're trying to get another disc in play. And the USAU volunteer, USA Ultimate volunteer,
all right.
giving
a new game. Are you good with the players
disc.
being here, or do you want to reset that? Are we okay, players, where we are at a disc exchange? Yeah.
So the rules there, Theo, are
Okay,
that one team can't just voluntarily change out the disc. The other team has to be in accordance. And you could see there the observer making sure that there was no unfair advantage because of that stoppage of play. More execution errors continue to stack up here. That was a misthrow from Middlebury.
It was actually going to be a pick call by Wesleyan as well, but it's waved off because of the turnover. Milo going around to scout Noble. Noble now finding Salzman. Noble and Widmeyer going at it. Amy Lee making a play. Widmeyer. Round to Lee. Lee avoids Harrison's bid and immediately throws it back to Widmeyer. Widmeyer going the other way. And that'll be Lizzie Madden collecting the goal, and we're tied up at 5s. 4th assist for Widmeyer.
That is huge. Middlebury needed that break back. Remember, they got off to that immediate disadvantage. Wesleyan breaking twice to start the game. And it, bit by bit, piece by piece, it hasn't been pretty, but Middlebury has been scrapping their way back into this game. And both teams just giving each other so many unforced errors, but that one so earned. That just run through D. Fantastically executed by Amy Lee.
Wesleyan going to take their second timeout here with the score being 5-5. Out of timeouts will be the Vicious Circles. Who's going to take the advantage? Come back and find out.
Okay.
Five all the scoreline here. Chance at the quarterfinals, a spot in the quarterfinals, not just a chance, a spot out here for these two teams. Defending champion Wesleyan Vicious Circles in a tight battle with the 4-seed overall and semifinalists from last year, the Middlebury Pranksters.
So 5 all, but Wesleyan's still up a break.
Big D from the smaller Amy Lee getting up, elevating.
Back-to-back Ds there for Lee. A big part of why they got that upwind score just moments ago.
Zipping it in and being caught was caught by Kaya Ganzel, and now talking about the disc as why play has stopped. Unless it's punctured, I believe we have to keep playing.
It's not actually technically.
Okay, then we can keep it. Yeah, we'll keep it.
Okay, so we're keeping it.
Can't have holes in the disc, of course, but if it's warped a little bit, you have to continue playing.
Still works.
Ganzel looking deep. Lizzie Madden is there. 3 straight points for the Pranksters.
3 straight points, and now, Theo, we are back on serve. Absolute wildness here, where we have had more breaks than holds.
I think some of that's weather related, and we did mention that these teams have big wins heading into this game, and certainly the lines open up a bit when that happens, right? You're not going to run tight lines in those situations. Can sometimes that affect things when you're now suddenly in a tight game?
Well, part of it is a mentality shift, Theo, right? Because if you haven't had to call lines, and remember, Middlebury, no coaches. Wesleyan does have a coach calling lines, but it is a different mindset. What was it Middlebury told us? They had run a freshman line. They had run, I think, a seniors line. Yep. So had been playing a much lighter, friendlier, open, very fun forward. And so part of when you come to a much more intense rivalry game like this, how do you still find the fun? How do you still play for yourself? Or do you get mired in this game where each team is trying to disrupt the other team and make them play outside of their own game plan? And right now, quite frankly, I think both teams are succeeding. So again, back on serve for this game. But energy-wise, I would say very much in Middlebury's direction right now.
Certainly Wozniak in this Wesleyan offense trying to change that here. Canutus Nadal just got a touch as well. Wozniak looking to the end zone, and I think CeCe Rainier lost her assignment because Buzanski catches that one.
Buzanski coming up big in big moments for Wesleyan. That was a critical one. They really needed to stop the bleed. Middlebury had those back-to-back breaks. And Buzanski also so good at celebrating those moments. Really, just in that instant, changing the energy for this Wesleyan team. And watch this again, the clear that makes it possible. And I think Buzanski had stopped her cut. Again, watch this again. Holds, signals to clear, and then steps forward, and Buzanski just making good eye contact. And that's so tough. If that's your defensive assignment and you see that the initial cut is interrupted.
Sideline push-ups, we like that.
Push-ups per score, we like those.
Yeah, he's pumping up the Wesleyan sideline right now. We like that.
And you do hear the sidelines starting to raise their voices, raise their tempo. This has been, for these teams, an oddly subdued game. I think both of them just a little bit in their heads. Tied 6s here. Are they able to steady the ship? Are they able to execute? Or are we going to continue to see just this really high variance, high risk tolerance, kind of sloppy play. I would love to see the contrary.
Wesleyan zone look out here as they're right now. Middlebury is content working it laterally with Rainier, Widmeyer, and De Silva. Now getting it in, trying to cut through the teeth of it over to Goldstein. Now in the hands of Laramie. So Widmeyer trying to get things going for this Middlebury offense after just giving up a clean hold to Buzanski in this Wesleyan side.
And I love the big frames of the Wesleyan marks, just extending their wingspan, making it so difficult to throw past that wall. Not expending a lot of energy, but just really containing until Widmeyer opens up.
Opens up the arm just like that, like you said, Kelsey, and finds Avery Goldstein. 5th assist for Widmeyer, sounding like a broken record out here.
Wozniak was right there. Thought she had it, but the disc just held, continue floating right over the head. Risk reward. You know, after just so many little dink-dank to finally take that shot, and you could see her winding up. It's got good spin, just barely over the hands of the defender. But the awareness also to hop into the end zone by Goldstein. I mean, what haven't we said about Widmeyer? 5 assists. For that number, only 3 turns, especially considered the volume of touches that Widmeyer has had and also the volume of turns so far this game. I'm remembering back to Widmeyer's freshman year where that number of turns was easily double per game, and we could still see the potential. We could see the athleticism, we could see the execution, we knew what was coming. But I love this more dialed in, execution friendly version of Widmeyer with still the engine to power up and change the game, and now crossing over onto defense.
And running right to the mark here against Noble. Last year's Offensive Player of the Year, runner-up for Player of the Year and Rookie of the Year was Widmeyer. And going to have a chance to drive this offense after a drop from Sasha Raskin, a throw a little too hot to handle. And a chance right now for the Pranksters to go up 2 would be their largest lead of the game.
Raskin almost earned that D back, just putting tight pressure. Middlebury, though, charging up the field. They are in flow, in motion.
Can Milo get there for the block? It's for naught, as Lizzie Madden will get the break for the Pranksters, and they'll take half up 8-6.
That's such a tough call if you're Milo Brown. Milo had an angle on it, but not a safe one. And I really respect the choice that they made to not blow up that play. And it's got to stick in your gut. Wesleyan is not used to being down like this.
Remember, they had a big finals run last year. They're the defending champions. Pranksters out on the move. Goldstein throwing that one out. Madden catching it. And they'll be up at half by 2, 8-6.
The best of College Ultimate is here, but this summer the game goes global. From the rising stars of World Junior Ultimate Championships to the seasoned battles of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships to the biggest stage in Club Ultimate, the World Ultimate Club Championships. Watch the best of the best represent their countries, their clubs, and the future of the sport. Watch it all unfold live exclusively on Ultiworld.
champion.
Teams that know each other quite well, locked in a big-time battle here in Pool D. Final round of the day one of the Division III College Championships, the women's division. Take a look at the stats out here. Pretty even in certain categories, so margins super thin.
Things have been cleaning up. If you remember, first time we looked at those stats, Middlebury with only 1 break executed, Wesleyan with only 2. So both teams executing, but turnovers simply too high, blocks being earned, but some significant playmaking. Biggest one sticking out to me, Ella Woodmeyer, 5 assists, just really facilitating on all fronts for this Middlebury team. If I'm Wesleyan, I definitely want to boost that hold percentage in the second half.
Action back and forth in the first half. Canutas Nadell getting involved, and there were a couple of flying blocks and hand blocks too, so defense really reigning supreme so far here in this first half.
Yeah, there have been some excellent plays. It has been turn heavy, but we've also seen the ability to execute regardless of the elements, and that is what you want to see. Some of the big energy builders, like this catch by Buzanski. But Middlebury found an answer to that energy.
They're looking locked in right now on the sidelines, listening to some instruction right now as they're up 8-6 and hoping for more. Ready for a big second half.
Okay.
I'm here at the Triangle Ultimate Middle School Championships, where over 30 middle school teams are showing us exactly what the future of our sport looks like. Local, accessible, youth ultimate. At the Ultimate Foundation, we envision a world where everyone has the opportunity to experience ultimate as a sport that inspires integrity, relationships, and belonging. Founded in 2014, we are the philanthropic arm of USA Ultimate. Our funding priorities are focused on fostering access, growing youth ultimate, investing in local communities, and supporting the Girls Ultimate Movement and the Del Rico Johnson Fund. Our mission is to fuel a future for ultimate that is accessible to all backgrounds and identities by supporting USA Ultimate programs, partners, and communities. Let's stop sitting on the sidelines. Let's make the ultimate difference for the next generation.
Getting ready for some more second half action. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, stop what you're doing. Head to ultiworld.com/subscribe to get your subscription today. Save 10% off an annual subscription by using the code COLLEGE. That's the code COLLEGE to get 10% off your annual subscription. D1 coming up next weekend. We still got more D3 the rest of this way. Multiple Worlds tournaments in the summer. Now's the best time to lock in. Use the code COLLEGE at ultiworld.com/subscribe to get 10% off an annual subscription.
Middlebury Swan making an appearance for the first time that we've seen so far this game. You said that Swan had a name.
Steve the Swan, isn't that right? Wesleyan coming on offense here. These two teams have crowded the championship ladder here at this division. Mentioned that Middlebury won in 21, 22, and 23. Wesleyan winning in 2025. So certainly both of these teams going to be up to the task here in the second half using that championship pedigree.
Wild that these teams are in the same pool. Absolutely wild.
Yeah, Portland broke that up in 2024 with the win over Carleton Eclipse. They have yet to be back at nationals since then. So they have actually not qualified the last 2 years. The champions back in 2024, Portland Uproar. So landscape changing perhaps a little bit in D3, but it remains Middlebury being a consistent contender.
Eclipse, of course, the 3rd seed, and right now in calm control of their pool. Whitman and Davenport also up there as top seeds. There is more action yet to come. Again, this for a pre-quarter spot. Winner gets to stay home and sleep, as it were, get a little bit more rest before they head into quarters. But we have so much talented women team presence here at D3 Nationals this year.
Matching worms from the Middlebury sideline, more dancing from the Wesleyan one as well. We saw Wesleyan players having a very different type of halftime, dancing, getting the good vibes going right now.
I really felt like they needed that positivity, just forced out of their game, maybe more so than Middlebury was. And remember, both teams, that's something that they want to do. They like imposing their will on other teams. But the defense by Amy Lee continues to just be intense, pouring on the pressure.
It's a throw into the grass, and Maggie Lee, just a rookie out here, first-year player. So is Lizzie Madden. Madden has played for the club team Ozone out of Atlanta and throws the assist. It's a break. It's Hazel Stringer on the receiving end.
And I know it was a little while ago, but that is back-to-back breaks for Middlebury. Turning the corner on the half, and they are up a comfortable 9-6 lead. That's a big one. That sets the tone. All that work that Wesleyan did to leave the first half behind, to set themselves on a good foot, they have to hold tight to that loose energy. A little bit contradictory in terms, I know, but keep focused on that loose energy. Middlebury, though, just pouring it on.
Wesleyan lost one of their top players, Natalie Sweet, Donovan finalist from a year ago, triple-double at Nationals last year. Amelia Platt as well, also had 10 goals. So they retain a lot of players, certainly Milo Brown, Scout Noble, etc., Maggie Brown. But you also lose some of those veterans that have got you there. They've moved on and graduated. That's always going to be the nature of college ultimate. That's what makes coaching in this division very difficult. You got that 4-year cycle, and then hey, you got some new players you got to integrate in.
Oh, every year. And you got to go looking for them. You can't wait.
Yeah, keep recruiting out here. No NIL money, though. Imagine Ultimate had the big transfer portal like we see in college sports. That'd be crazy.
As Ultimate fans, we would love that.
Raskin? Excuse me, that was, yeah, Raskin with the disc. Looking for Buzanski. Couldn't get there with the left hand.
Wesleyan, I think, being a little slow to clear their lanes, which allows the defenders from Middlebury time to just stay in, clog, and put additional pressure, make those spaces harder to throw into.
You can see the wind really taking that Lizzie Madden throw. Noble's backhand. Looking for Littell. Salisbury will collect the block. Should still be Middlebury disc as Sophia Canutas Nadal is going to come in the stead for an injury sub. Just has to tap the ground to make things active and players can start moving here. They do just that.
You know, maybe not at Nationals, Theo, but I have seen players come in and, for example, sit on the ground like the previous player was.
That's true. I have seen that. That is a good point.
Oh, wait, you were laying on the ground. Okay, I'll start here.
Lee squeezing things over to Caitlin Stanley, getting a touch, another rookie. Great cut from Lee. Madden's going to hit. Can Lee stay in bounds with the right foot? Out of bounds.
No
Just
joy.
so close.
Lee is having one heck of a game, and that was a very good cut. But I think just not enough edge. You can see it kind of turning. Lee had to really attack it up in the air instead of it coming down where she could target it. But
Lefty connection with Kanutis, Nadal, and Buzanski, but can't continue it to Milo. Third turnover from Wesleyan on this offensive point. They have not crossed over Widmeyer as much as I expected with their D-line, so choosing to rest number 6, their star player, a bit. It's been Madden and Lee doing a lot of quarterbacking.
Well, and honestly, Theo, that bodes well for them that they can trust their personnel.
And you're going to need that. It's a long tournament.
Long tournament.
See the fatigue starting to set in on the face and body language of Milo Brown.
Milo Brown, who I think also wasn't expecting the previous toss their direction, which was a turn. So we are seeing, again, some of that just turn heavy back and forth. And Theo, we do have to remember how cold this spring has been. Was it Middlebury telling us they haven't had field access because they keep having to shovel snow off of their fields? They haven't had a single grass practice this year.
It's true.
And now it's 80 degrees. What's going on?
Kanutis Nadal got the hand block. Milo Brown will get the goal from the assist from Scout Noble.
Noble says, Noble and Milo Brown say, who's tired? Who's tired?
Yeah, I want to circle back to your story, though, what you were saying earlier about the weather.
It's real.
It is important.
And you're in Canada. I'm in Minnesota. We're
hey, not all of
frozen
Canada's
north
cold.
to
I'm just
begin
saying,
with.
Vancouver is quite nice
compared to
the East Coast, okay, or eastern part.
No, but it's been chilly. It's been tough to get outside. There have been patches of weird warm spots, but we had snow 4 weeks ago. So yeah, Middlebury apparently has not been cleared to use any of their grass fields.
The stank is what I've been told it's called, the stank.
Their practice field.
I said I was going to say that on air, but Wesleyan also started their season later too, with even tournaments being later. So it's just a later ramp up for teams that aren't necessarily on the West Coast or in certain other parts of the United States. And so there's some advantages and disadvantages to that.
Well, and circling back to where this whole thought thread started was it is different playing in heat. You use moisture differently, you regulate your breath differently, you have to push through differently in that heat, and if your body's not tested for it, if you haven't acclimated to it, it becomes a mental load as well, not just a physical one. Can you suffer and push through to the other side? And right now I do think we're seeing Middlebury suffer more effectively.
And I think they're conserving their lineup as well in a smart way. And that's something that has led to their advantage so far. As we mentioned, Widmeyer not playing as many points as maybe some of the other stars from the Wesleyan side, because Milo Brown back out on the field, so is Kanutis Nadal.
I think Wesleyan very much feeling the pressure to get one of those breaks back and feeling that they can't wait down the line and wait to do it later.
Goldstein keeps the toes in. Widmeyer evades the bid of Kanutis Nadal, continuing down the line for Laramie, who rises with two hands.
Laramie went up into the air with authority. And if you remember, very beginning of the game, Widmeyer had 2 turns, back-to-back low releases, but you see the value of executing that low release in these windy conditions. Because that was perfection.
Showing the resolve, too, because if you're a player that is going to get heavy workload and you turn it over early, sometimes you can get in your head, but clearly Widmeyer getting out of that. As we take a look at some of the breaks, and it's been a lot of breaks on the left side right now in the most recent goals in the last 10. It's been a lot of Middlebury pranksters.
Middlebury just pouring it on and showing they can execute down the line. It's all been their side. Wesleyan currently down 3. And you can see the turns clustered where it is, you know, both teams, they'll have clean points, and then we'll have just a long, drawn-out point, and it makes those points that much more valuable when you can come down with the goal when you've expended that much energy.
No Lee or Madden on the field, but Widmeyer is out there. So crossing over number 6 out on the field with maybe some secondary pieces we haven't seen as much of. Getting some new personnel in. Bunnell is ruled out of bounds by the observer guarding the line. And so Middlebury can potentially expand to their largest lead of 4 if they can get this point. And they're going to have the right personnel to do it with Widmeyer with the disc. 6 assists already for number 6. Around, looking for Salisbury. Not completed to the other side just yet. Instead, it's a reset to Widmeyer. Salisbury, power position. And that's going to work out. Finding McKenna Bachman.
Raskin was so close. You saw just reaching up, trying to reel that one in. But Middlebury just continues to pour it on. That is their 2nd break this half and their 5th break in a row.
Unanswered from Wesleyan is what you're telling me. They have not been able to put the same defensive fight as Bunnell. Clearly out of bounds on the landing, right on the line. That's clear as day. And Middlebury counterattack. Weather continue to affect things, Kelsey.
Continuing to affect Wesleyan, looking fatigued. And I do think that is showing in some of these missed connections. Again, that was a first pass error connection. Either Milo Brown not being aware of how close that sideline was, or again, the receiver. But of the 8 offensive points that Wesleyan has played, they have only scored 2 of them in that last sequence. And that's a tough run. That gets in your head. It's really, really tough also because then you're playing just those back-to-back-to-back points.
11-7 the scoreline here, the 4 seed Middlebury up. If we look at some of the other scores across the division, McAllister, the Purse Snatchers, they're up 11-7 on the number 1 overall seed Davenport. And I didn't expect this. Haverford Bryn Mawr is down 11-3 to Whitman, the 7 seed overall. So a lot of chalky stuff happening in men's, but not on the women's side. Okay, we like that. Chaos reigning out here, Division 3 women's.
We have needed some chaos. What is D3 without chaos?
That could set up some very spicy quarterfinal matchups. Brown finds a target. Chris Guan. Guan now needs a reset. Buzanski right hand. The southpaw making it with the offhand grab. Looks off Milo Brown. It's high stall. And finds Keller. So going with a few different personnel, and it works out for Rayner and the Wesleyan Vicious Circles.
I'm not sure Keller believed it, and you see just more exhaustion than celebration. And so I think part of it is Wesleyan knowing, okay, great, we got 1. It's not done. What do we do next? I think still trying to find their center. And that is, again, from defending champions, such a bizarre place to be. But remember, we were talking with Coach Keith Rayner, and they brought 11 new players into this roster. Some of them practice players from the year before, a lot of them rookies. So there are a lot of new personnel being integrated in who have never been at this stage, who have never played for these stakes before. And how do you bring them up to speed in games like this? Outside the bracket, important. But both of these teams are headed to bracket. Both these teams have playable ahead of them. It's just whether or not they play that extra game.
And I want to correct myself. There is some chaos in men's. I'm just going to put that out there. St. Olaf, the 6th seed overall, is up 11-8 on the defending champions, Lewis and Clark Bacchus, the 3 seed overall. So, hey, there is chaos rating out here.
Theo is watching my face contort in a number of different expressions, and it's partially because I have so much to say that I'm not going to say on the women's broadcast. Leave that for the men's round. We'll offer commentary there.
Widmeyer working against a very big mark of Buzanski. Laramie now. Buzanski was almost there. I like that they're switching up who they're assigning to Widmeyer, trying to make the throwing angles a bit more difficult. Widmeyer's around, is snagged by De Silva. That was a high throw. And a trailing edge grab from Avery Goldstein. Second goal for number 1, makes it 12-8.
De Silva has made a number of really athletic catches. And someone who I think has been saving the disc, saving possession for Middlebury down this backstretch as they have steadied the ship. You can see Wesleyan looking fatigued, trying to keep their spirits up, trying to keep body positivity, going for arms up, but just not quite there. And I do think one of the differences is, do they believe it this year? Do they believe they have it? Do they believe they can come back? Charlie Hoppus was talking last round about Ultimate being a game of runs, D3 being the king of runs, where we see it the most. But does Wesleyan believe that right now? Because if they don't believe it, they won't do it. And if they are already mentally checking till tomorrow and ready to go hop in the showers, you can be there mentally. That happens. So they choose now. Are they going to find the grit within themselves? Are they going to push through and keep fighting? Or are they going to check out and mentally get ready for tomorrow? And that's two very different games.
I think these next few points will tell the tale of that story. We're going to see what Wesleyan we get. Noble thought about the backhand as Harrison in the backfield. Still free as a reset. Eventually we get the disc now is number 10. Harrison doesn't like what she sees, so we'll reset it to Noble. Noble's throw, looking for Bunnell. Salisbury swipes it with the left hand.
Bunnell had a chance at that, but Salisbury making contact was exactly what Middlebury needed.
You hear home calls from the sideline, and now the force switches. Some confusion on the mark here for Wesleyan, and that perhaps could be because of some of the fatigue. Amy Lee sprinting for that disc. Has Laramie going into deep space. Throw's going to hang. Good block from Littell. Just her presence of mind there, making things hard for Laramie.
And I think Laramie just losing the disc in the sun. I loved the energy. Amy Lee so clearly still has legs at this point in the game, but that throw was not well executed. Out in front would have been better, and that's a tough throw here in these wind conditions.
Throw's going both ways. Good layout effort from Caitlin Stanley. But this will go back to the vicious circles.
And both teams hot. We are in the heat of the day right now, Theo. Both teams fatigued, and I think there's a desire to end it. Amy Lee again.
Amy Lee's had a great game. Someone you might not have known already. U20, U24 Team China. Working with Lizzie Madden. That combo has been lethal, for the Middlebury D-line.
Yeah, look at the explosiveness of Lee. There is no hesitation. There is no fatigue or lag.
High throw. Two players are going to catch it. It's Salisbury and Bunnell. And it's going to be a goal for the Pranksters. Salisbury brings in the 13th marker
That is the spirit that was missing in the Elon OC game. Just let me take it there. Because we both get there, it goes to offense, shake hands, we're good. No argument, no prolonged, no team moms wanting to put both teams in timeout. But watch, the poise here, because it floats up, it's a pack, but the players play it safe, no one gets injured. That's just two athletic players trying to make a play. Salisbury gets it. Middlebury punches one more in. And that is another break. They are now 2 away from putting this game to sleep.
Taking a look at Rayner talking with Maggie Brown, along with Lisa Rooks and Nora Bus-Buzanski, captains on this team, trying to figure out, hey, what do we got to do right now to get out of this 5-point hole? More leadership now coming for this Wesleyan side. Looking like a whole line. Gonna have a talk here with Keith Rayner as Middlebury has their whole team grouped together.
Things really quiet right now. I think both teams know. They know what's on the line. They know it's not over yet, but we are nearing the end, and Middlebury has just been dominant down this back stretch. So again, put yourself in the shoes of a coach here. What levers do you still fear you have? You can't change too much, right? Because at the end of the day, this is about execution. But what can you still gain knowing that you're headed into bracket play tomorrow? What is still of value, and how can you set your players up for success? And honestly, if I'm Wesleyan right now, part of that's mental, because a lot of these are self-driven errors.
Self-inflicted wounds is how I'm going to say it. See how they respond here out of this timeout that they called. If you can get, a hold here and then suddenly you get a quick break, things could really change. Widmeyer back out there for Middlebury.
And that's a kill line out there for Wesleyan. I think they know if they're going to make a stand, they have to do it. But Middlebury on an absolute tear.
Offsides called, but right now we got to turn our attention to what Middlebury's been doing. It's a 10-3 run since Wesleyan was up 5-3. 10-3 run. Unprecedented right now for this Middlebury side. They looked a little bit worse for wear in the beginning, gave it those 2 breaks, but it's been a lot of pranksters since then. Bunnell, big grab. Could this inject some life into this Vicious Circles group? Needs a reset. Finds one in Milo Brown. They are back on the field after a couple points off, it seems like. Canutus Nadal. Looking for Milo Brown. Good pressure there from Ganzel, but Brown was there. Big around. Finding Bunnell, and a huge hold for Wesleyan.
That was absolutely massive. Middlebury has been on a straight tear. Wesleyan has not been able to punch the disc in this direction, and quite frankly, Middlebury has been winning the huck war. They've been executing better in those deep spaces. They've been getting better field position. But Wesleyan able to just put together some mid-range passes, get within striking distance, and I loved that clearing cut by Noble. Scout Noble clearing out, and Brown just throwing the shot to space. Cut hadn't even developed yet, but saying, I want you here. So I'm putting the disc there, and you need to go get it. I may or may not have done that before.
Milo back out on the field, so is Noble. So certainly Rayner dialing up some bigger lines in terms of the personnel, and star players coming out to play now with the scoreline the way it is and time ticking away.
I think Wesleyan just preparing to empty the tank. Anything to get themselves back in this game.
Is that a decision you would make, Kelsey? Because there is pre-quarters to play first thing in the morning if you're not successful. It's kind of a tough balance to strike, right?
I think part of the question is, do you believe in yourself? Where do you think your ceiling is? It's a really small window. I probably would have done it 5 points ago or 6 to give yourself more runway.
But don't look now. If they can get this score, they'd be within 3. And as I say that throw for Canutus Nadal not going to work out. But they could reduce it to 3, and then Middlebury starts to feel some of the pressure. Rainier now looking around, and we'll find Widmeyer, who's very poached off of Brown. Widmeyer squatting down for a flick, finds Laramie.
Theo, I do feel that Widmeyer has been one of the big difference makers in terms of execution, but that's a turn that we haven't seen since the first 2 points of the game.
Been near perfect since that moment. 6 assists already to the total. Milo high stall. Gonna have to just put up a backhand, but Buzanski is in the area, and it's gonna be a break for Wesleyan.
Buzanski has come up big for Wesleyan in so many moments.
There is some discussion between Widmeyer and Milo Brown and the Observer. I believe Widmeyer might have gotten hit in the face on the release or after the release of the throw. The 2 former high school teammates going to discuss things with the Observer.
The call is foul.
But what would that scenario be because it was my release?
Right. Well, it depends. Like, so your point of view is that you released it before contact happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's your opponent's point of view.
I have no idea. All I know is that I just got really whacked in the face. Sorry. No, it's okay. Yeah, I don't really know. Do you feel like you released it before? I feel like it was my follow through because your face was there when I slapped it. Okay, then that's all I guess. I don't know. Okay. It's okay.
Waved off. Buzanski's going to be credited with the goal, 3rd of the game for number 23. Milo Brown getting a 3rd assist. And hey, we talked about Wesleyan really stepping things up after the timeout. They got the clean hold. They got the break. They're right back in this game down 13-10.
That all started with that one unexecuted error. Here's the slow-mo of this contact. Okay, so the follow-through there. Widmeyer taking the contact in the chin. And that's a tough one because if you're going, and we've had some letter of the law conversations today, but if you're going letter of the law, the defense is moving. They're not a stationary mark. They're coming into that, which typically invalidates that as a foul, right? But it still sucks to get nailed in the face. Nobody wants that. Now, do I think it was intentional? Not at all. It's just a absolutely cranked backhand heading full tilt, and Ella Widmeyer doing her best to challenge it. I call that incidental contact. Not fun, but incidental.
Widmeyer back out on the field for Middlebury and some other women's games to watch out for. McAllister lead is only down to 2 now against Davenport. So the 8 seed, McAllister only up 2 now against Davenport, the 1 seed. Certainly keep an eye out on the USA Ultimate Score Reporter. More of these results continue to be finalized in the last round of pool play here on day 1 of the Division III College Championships. Saw Buzanski take that Widmeyer matchup. Instead, it's going to be Canutus Nadal. And that's just a unforced turnover from Widmeyer. We saw the flick that didn't work on the last point, going left to right on your screen. And now Milo and this Wesleyan offense, or D-line offense, could bring this game within 2.
Theo, we asked the question earlier, does Wesleyan believe that they can make it happen? And especially if they're able to execute here when you're down by 2, you believe it's not that far, especially at the rate that execution errors have been happening because you keep getting chances. You just have to punch them in.
You have any better perspective on that? Okay.
Like some contact because we were both going for the disc, but I don't think I pushed them out of the way.
Work it out, yeah.
Like,
work it out.
Because I touched the disc, and then your hands
You
felt
felt it.
contact.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can leave it as a contest, or you can come to the observer. You don't have to come to the observer if you want to send it back as a contest.
Do you mind if we go to the observer? Yeah.
Okay, observer ruling, we didn't have a better perspective. We talked it over, so we're going to leave that as a contest. It'll go back to the original thrower. Count +1, maximum of 6. So we're going to go here.
Milo Brown will keep possession here for Wesleyan as they're trying to reduce this lead down to 2. Marked by CC Rainier.
This is such a key possession for Wesleyan. If they have any chance back into this game, they have to keep possession here.
Maggie Brown been a bit quiet here in this second half. Getting the disc over to Canutus Nadal, now going up the line, receiving that one. Big mark here from Goldstein. Milo Brown looking for Mabel Wu. Third straight point for the Vicious Circles, quarterbacked by Milo Brown. That's 3 straight assists for number 6.
And you know the thing that I liked best about that for Wesleyan was Canutus Nadel, who was marked by Widmeyer, exiting the scene, clearing to the stack, leaving space for Milo Brown to make that upline call and set up that sequence. Give space, get the key defenders out, and get your push-ups in because Wesleyan is on a tear.
Middlebury calling a timeout there, their first of the second half. And that's just that looked like a sunscreen error there from Widmeyer. But nonetheless, Wesleyan takes advantage. Brown, 3 straight assists for the Vicious Circles. They're crawling back. They're only down 13-11.
I'm here at the Triangle Ultimate Middle School Championships, where over 30 middle school teams are showing us exactly what the future of our sport looks like. Local, accessible, youth ultimate. At the Ultimate Foundation, we envision a world where everyone has the opportunity to experience ultimate as a sport that inspires integrity, relationships, and belonging. Founded in 2014, we are the philanthropic arm of USA Ultimate. Our funding priorities are focused on fostering access, growing youth ultimate, investing in local communities, and supporting the Girls Ultimate Movement and the Del Rico Johnson Fund. Our mission is to fuel a future for ultimate that is accessible to all backgrounds and identities by supporting USA Ultimate programs, partners, and communities. Let's stop sitting on the sidelines. Let's make the ultimate difference for the next generation.
This second half certainly has gone exciting. Middlebury up 13-11. The horn just went off, so we'll let you know about the soft cap rules once this next point is scored. Theo Wan bringing you the action with Kelsey Percy. And Wesleyan looked dead to rights at one point, down 13-8.
Down at 13-8. Middlebury had just been pouring it on. They had been on a 10-point tear. But Wesleyan got one back and then just punched 2 back-to-back breaks. And with that timeout that Middlebury called, Wesleyan able to rehydrate, rest its top line, and look at the personnel they have back out on the field. Noble, Brown, Knutz Nadel, all back out on the field along with Harrison.
Bunnell is also on the field for this Wesleyan side, and same thing with Wozniak. And Elizabeth Littell. This throw could result in a turnover, but Widmeyer is there, but believe Milo's going to call a push-off foul on a former high school teammate.
When I had my hands out in front of me, I totally agree. And I do remember feeling you. I just don't know if I intentionally pushed you, and I don't know what the call is on that.
Okay, what happens if it's an incidental contact where her hands do extend? And
so when you say incidental, do you mean?
It seems like she's saying that it's incidental and that she's not
Okay, do you agree that it was incidental?
I don't know. I just from my back, all I could feel was someone pushing me.
Okay, are you claiming that affected your play on the disc?
I mean, I think I just stopped and would have gone after it if I hadn't felt like someone was
Okay, so that's your call.
I was calling the foul before the disc could even
Sure, okay.
I don't know what to do. Should we just send it back? Wait, is that
If you don't come to us, it's a foul contest and it goes back.
I'm cool with that if you want to do it. Okay, that sounds good.
Foul contest, it goes back.
The two friends choosing to send it back as a contest there.
Theo, there's math to that decision. Because there were 3 outcomes, and the one... We'll focus on play, but let me rant on that later.
Widmeyer. We will circle back to that, but Widmeyer right now in this offense with Amy Lee on the field. Looking poised to try to get a hold here after giving up 2 straight breaks. Lee. Keeping things going, hitting Kaya Ganzel. Big hold.
So that's a really tough one for Wesleyan, and that is exactly what Middlebury needed and what they hoped for when they took that timeout. But let's rewind back a little bit to that foul call that got contested and sent back. Because there's a bit of a numbers game at play there, because there are a couple different outcomes of it could be contested and go back to the thrower. It could be countered, ruled no, and then continue up the line. Or if you go to the observer, if it's overturned, if they rule, Wesleyan could have ended up with the disc there. And so from Wesleyan's perspective, that would have been the best outcome, was to go to the observer. And so it's interesting because, yes, know the rules, but also even when you're tired, the most valuable thing as a player can be to state your thoughts clearly of, did it affect your play, yes or no? Don't prevaricate. Speak clearly, and if you're not sure, go to the observer. I do appreciate that the observers of this game have been encouraging discussion first, because there has been a trend in Ultimate over the last decade to not discuss, to not flex that muscle of discourse and just treat the observers like refs. So pros and cons of the situation.
Looking at a lot of late minutes here, finding Bunnell, who's also on this last point.
Last point, game point.
Throw popped up. Big right hand. There was a foul. And Mabel Wu's going to call it. Play's going to stop, but I think would have maybe had an advantage if she had just kept continuing play.
That's where you call contact and play on.
Great defense. Trying to shake free was Milo Brown, but it was denied by the defense of Ganzel. That results in that end zone turnover. Widmeyer now at the controls. That throw too low. High volume player, turns racking up, but also the assists, but just a lot to be asked of number 6 right now.
And we're seeing miscues on both sides. Disc right now on Middlebury's line, and you can see Ella Widmeyer trying to communicate, trying to get players to lock in, because right now they are discombobulated. There is not organization or connection. Honestly, looks like a swarm of bees.
Game to 15 right now with Middlebury scoring that one.
And this is when you want focus. Game point on the line, and I feel like I'm getting that sense of urgency and focus from Widmeyer. Can they clean it up right here?
Hazel Stringer with it. They're going down the line, but swatted away by Canutas Nadal.
Wesleyan says they will not go quietly into the night. They keep coming up with opportunities, but they're also giving it away on execution. Can they fight it cleanly upfield and notch one more break this half?
This is offensive point for them, so they got to take care of that business first. Bunnell has a receiver going deep and turning around. Middlebury will get the block. I think you spin around Hazel Stringer and get the D.
Keller's a great target, but Bunnell not necessarily who you want taking that shot. One more opportunity, heads up play. Can they get there? No, just falling short.
Looking for McKenna Bachman, the third-year player for this Middlebury side. Milo, I think, dialing up a huck, looking for Keller, and pointed and looking. Good fight and battle. Keller going to call a foul here on Stringer.
Wait, yeah, sorry. So when we were running, I know that I came back, but I think initially you pushed me off my line so that I had to go back through, if that makes sense.
So back there?
Yeah, like I think there was some contact that forced me, like the contact had pushed me this way, so that in order to get it, like, you get what I'm saying?
I think I do. I think, like, what I would say there is like, you're a speedy person. I was trying to do a quick change of direction, and so I found my line, and I thought that I was going in my line. But I'm gonna contest it just because I just thought I had my line, but yeah.
All right, so, okay, I understood. Would you like a ruling, or would you like to play it as, just leave it as a contest?
I'm good.
Okay, good? Yeah, okay.
So an agree to contest there, and I liked that discussion. And honestly, if I'm looking at that from a coach or a player perspective, what I'm seeing is two players fighting equally physically for the disc. But one of the things is you need to agree to raise to that level of physicality. And in women's, that is something that sometimes requires a conversation first. Players can mutually agree to just play a little tougher within their matchup.
Funnel up to the task. Finding Knutis Nadal.
Red zone for Wesleyan.
It's Noble getting free of Madden, and now Knutis Nadal working against Widmeyer. And will shovel her way into the end zone. A little kick spike afterwards.
The moment was almost anticlimactic. You could see the hesitation of, is it going to be this easy? Okay, I'll throw a 1-yard pass to you on the cone. But Widmeyer was so thoroughly sealed out. And just like that, that's 3 scores for Wesleyan. They're still in it. Down 13-9. And now we're at 14-12. It is still game point. Middlebury will have to go out there again.
Making a big comeback attempt was Wesleyan. They're going to have to do it now with their defense, and that's how they started this game. They scored their first 2 points on breaks, taking advantage of some turnovers from the pranksters. See their coach, Keith Rayner, dialing up the defensive assignments. Standard offensive grouping as the classic O-line chant, one of my favorites, going out on the field right now for Middlebury on their sideline. Milo Brown with the pull.
A lot of those Wesleyan personnel, a lot of mileage on them this game. Ella Widmeyer also been out for 3 consecutive points.
There was a player who took a tumble. That's Uzanski.
Call downfield. Yes, we're away. We're away.
Theo, something that Wesleyan's going to have to take into consideration if they want to make a comeback. The clock is not their friend. They need to get a D, they need to get it fast, and they really need to keep this short field so they can punch it in.
And they're going to want this discussion to go quickly, too. That's the big one.
comes in on? Okay, yep. They're coming on 8.
Contested stall going to bring the disc in at 8. Widmeyer just got to fire it. And it works out, finding Goldstein. Around to
Widmeyer
Rainier.
has come through for this Middlebury team so many times. Wesleyan has been putting up a fight. Can they lock down one more time?
Maddie Mitchell hitting Widmeyer up the line on Canutus Nadal. Less than 10 yards away from a spot in the quarterfinals. De Silva trying to get free. Great layout save to keep possession for the Pranksters. And a pick is called, so don't celebrate just yet. And then an injury from Maddie Mitchell as well. Big save there from De Silva, but right now thoughts are with Mitchell, who did catch it and then went down with an injury.
Yeah, looking at that, I'm worried about a knee injury there because she came down flat-footed. As someone who has torn their ACL, that's not how you want to land with that kind of jump, and that could seal the game. But what I really want to see is I want to see her get up and walk off the field, and hopefully that can happen. We'll see.
You just heard the horn there signifying the hard cap. That flashes across your screen. So this game is over. Middlebury will be advancing to the quarterfinals, but they're certainly concerned about Maddie Mitchell.
So I think the question now is it on the end zone line? Was it in? I haven't seen any signal from our observers.
So back where you were, when the pick happened?
We were in the same. Yeah, you were over here. You like ran over.
Okay, wait.
Ultimate here. Maybe watching your friend or child play. They will play out this point, even though the result has been determined. So this point will play out. Reset to Widmeyer.
A lot of separation right now between the handlers and their stack. Stack just kind of locked to the end zone, I think, focusing on that score, and they really need to move their stack forward.
Almost everyone was just kind of circling around, like bees to honey a little bit there. Great lockdown D from Canutus Nadal, making things difficult for De Silva. He's had an impressive game as a rookie on this offensive line. More discussion to be had here. Results decided in this game,
okay,
but
the resolution. So there's really no call, but we're going to allow you to. Is that what players want? Okay, as long as the player, that's what the players agree to. So we're going to sweep away the call, but we're going to allow this positioning to occur. So 3-2-1 on the check-in, if you would.
But Widmeyer will retain the disc. McAllister and Davenport stuck in a 13-13 game, so that's Universe over there. And they'll be looking to join the quarterfinals along with this team, which is Middlebury, as they'll advance, get the bye with a 15-12 victory. Some late resistance from the Vicious Circles, but it's the Pranksters who come out on top on this day, bring their season series with this team to 2-1.
What a tough fought battle by our defending champions in Middlebury, rising to the top of their pool. And they had some good moments, some rough starts too, but again, we're starting to see flashes of what both of these teams can accomplish. We'd love to see more of that down in the bracket, but a lot of really incredible, I think, defensive plays really leading the way in this game.
Wesleyan's defense starting out strong, but Middlebury really took things to a different gear in the second part of that first half. They took off 8-6 and eventually were up 13-8 before a little bit of a run from Wesleyan made things happen. But taking a look at the stats, what stands out to you, Kelsey?
I mean, the hold percentage. Remember how low it was in the first quarter and first half? Way, way up there. Both teams over 50%. We love to see that. Break percentages, though, too low for Wesleyan, but 25 break opportunities for Middlebury. Now imagine they convert a few more of those. Both teams well over 30 on turnovers. That's a tough one and one they'd like to fix. 7 assists, though. No surprise. Widmeyer just leading the way for this Middlebury Pranksters team.
Both teams are still going to be considered title contenders, so certainly a great battle, and it gives them a lot to think about as they head into a good night of sleep and rest. Pre-quarter starting 8:30 local time. We're in Central Time Zone for those in different places around the country. Middlebury's going to get to sleep in. They get the bye in the quarters. An exciting back and forth matchup. Put a ball on this one for us, Kelsey.
I mean, athletic plays, and some from the players you'd expect, but I love how many surprises there were. Amy Lee stepping up. Buzansky stepping up for Wesleyan.
Middlebury, though, gets the last laugh. They'll head into the quarter